What is going on, everybody? We are back for another episode of the ABJ Podcast. I am your host, Anthony Blackwell Jr. We have a amazing guest for you. I just realized I didn't clean up over there, so don't worry about those pillows. It's laundry day. I'm cleaning stuff, so just check out Winnie the Pooh back there. Um, I literally just looked as the camera. Anyway, we're just gonna ignore that. So welcome to episode 51. Started this back in October. We've crossed the 50 episode mark. I was debating if like every 50 episodes I called it like season 2, but I like to do the season at like the end of the year going into the next year. So I think that's what I'm going to do. So season 2 will end in December and then our season 1 will end in December and then season 2 will start in January. But yeah, man, it's been a crazy journey. We just surpassed over 1,000 audio plays on platforms. So if you're listening on Spotify, Apple, Google, the whole nine, they're all up on that side. Thank you. It's been super, super helpful. You can leave comments on Spotify. There also is a support tab. It's like a support this podcast. You could do like a monthly thing. I think it's like $1 or $2, or you could do $5. I think there's like 3 set prices. If you can do that, awesome. If you can't, I get it. Also merchandise, tons of new logos just dropped. And really proud of that. And then we decided that, before I was doing the wrestling content, it was just like pro wrestling content with Tony and BP and movie reviews with Tony and Heidi. I'm bringing back the old names. So the old channel, it's not going to be podcast. It's just going to be like the name of the playlist because I like the logos and I like the names. So Not Colon High School is coming back, and then Not Colon High School Horror, Banging Beers because I am doing beer reviews soon and bar reviews, and then also Tornado Tag is coming back. So it's just going to be tonight will be the debut of Tornado Tag returning. So it'll be me and BP with maybe some guests, and we're going to talk 80s and 90s tag teams that were not WWE tag teams. So come join us at 9:00 once again here on this channel. Sponsors, thank you so much to High Tension Wrestling as well as Elevation 1470. Elevation 1470 is reinventing the style by bringing traditional and nostalgic apparel to Frackville and the surrounding areas in School County, Pennsylvania. They pride themselves on hometown heritage and community. You can find them at elevation1470.com for the latest traditional and nostalgic styles in School County, Pennsylvania. Elevation 1470 is where the trail begins. Also possibly have another sponsor coming up. I have a meeting this weekend. Very excited. If you want to be a sponsor, if you want to be a guest, if you want to support me as well as my guest, all links are below. So make sure you do that and show them all that love. Without further ado, you didn't come to hear me talk about this housekeeping stuff. You're here for hashtag your favorite, my favorite, everyone's favorite. And that is the one and only Cosmic. What's going on?
I actually like your Winnie the Pooh. What is it? Is it like a pillow blanket thing?
Remember those like pillow pets?
Yeah,
it's like
pillow
it's a
pets.
pillow
That's what
and
it
then you
was. Yeah,
Velcro it. So
yeah,
it's like I
yeah.
have a Winnie the Pooh one, and I have a Washington football team before they were the Washington football team. We can't call them that name anymore. But it's a pig, so I have 2 of them. I'm a Winnie the Pooh guy, so I have
Oh,
I have
well,
a
you're
little
pretty outdated now, and I think the Squishmallows are like what's cool and.
Yeah, that's the new hotness. It's the Squishmallows. But wow, this is long overdue. This podcast is it's actually insane that you haven't been on sooner. I don't want to take all the credit, but I was your first merchandise. I'm just saying, you
You
know what I mean?
were.
Like,
You actually were. I was so surprised. You just came out of nowhere. You were like, "Hey, you guys want to do this?" And I was like, "You want to use us?" Like,
yeah. So the old Tornado Tag, which it is coming back tonight. I used to have variants of different independent wrestlers. If they were letting me use their likeness, I would pay an artist to do cartoons of them, and then I would use that as a logo, and then send them the logos if they want to use it or not. But you were on there. Rem was on there. I think Main Event was on there. JC Storm was on there. There was a bunch of different ones. Andy Header. The list goes on and on. But yeah, so I really appreciate you guys letting me do that. And we were just like, I don't know, we met at PPW, and I kind of fell in love with that crew that you guys all came from, and everybody was super nice and respectful and everything. And I felt like we all just connected really well. And I'm bummed that you kind of moved on to better pastures, and I did as well. And we don't see each other anymore. So this is like the first time we've gotten to talk in a long time. But I definitely miss our moments and seeing you and Rem and everybody else at shows. But I'm sure, we'll cross paths again someday in person. Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't say I've moved on for PPW. It's just I kind of like have like a home base now, and
Yeah. Well, that's what I meant by it. Like you've kind of you kind of established yourself more in the New York scene, and
yeah.
PPW is a travel for you, and you're let's just call it what it is. You're the shit now in your area. You know what I mean? You're a
I
hot
wouldn't
commodity.
I
You're
wouldn't
killing
say
up in New
that.
York.
I mean, you can keep going if you want.
You're rocking championship gold. You know what I mean? You're doing big things. I'm super proud of you. But let's rewind real quick and let's get into how you fell in love with this crazy industry we call professional wrestling. What's your earliest memory of becoming a wrestling fan?
So my origin story for wrestling is not the usual one. I love hearing like about other wrestlers talk about, they were like 3, they were 5, they watched it with their neighbor, their uncle, their dad, and it was like this thing that they would look forward to watching every single night, twice a night, or however long some people weren't allowed to watch it, so they used to watch it secretly. I wish I was like that, but I wasn't. I actually watched it a little bit when I was older, and then like I feel like maybe like it was like 22, and I just casually glanced over the TV because it's like they were playing it, like a friend I was at a friend's house and they played it, and I was like questioning myself because I was like, I haven't heard about pro wrestling in so long, like since it was like cool in school, right? So like there was
Mm-hmm.
like a phase where everybody was doing the rock chants and everyone was like, what? And you know what I mean? Like even if you weren't into wrestling, it was like in your face, and it was like
It was
what
a part of pop culture.
it was yeah, it was everyone was watching it. But then it kinda, like, died out, and I didn't hear about it for, like, a very long time till much later, and I was just like, "People are still watching this? This is still, like, a thing?" So then I saw, like, at this time, they were doing, like, the Divas division with, like, the butterfly belt or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and I just saw, like I believe I know I hate I people are gonna judge me when they hear this, but I believe it was the Bella twins. They were in the ring, and I saw them do, like, an up and over, or like a tip up, and they were pretty athletic, and I was surprised. I was like, "Wait, I feel like I can do this." So then I just looked it up on the internet and went to a wrestling school.
I love that. It's so insane how people like obviously there's age gaps between everybody and everyone has that spot where it's like this is my moment. Like I'm a little older, so like my earliest memory is going back to like before Raw was even a thing and like Saturday mornings and you know what I mean and watching old stuff like that like Hogan and Macho Man and then some people are like CM Punk, the pipe bomb got me. You know what I mean everyone has a thing, but it's crazy to hear like the like a generation that says like oh a video game got me into like I was at a friend's house and we were playing a video game and I was like, "What is this?" And like, "Oh, you can watch this on TV." And then it's like that's
They
how I
they
fell into
actually
wrestling.
say that, like, when you start training, they're like, "Oh, you don't know moves? Go play that video game." They have, like, every move ever.
Mm-hmm.
You just it doesn't matter, and they like, categorize it, like, by strikes, by this, by that, so you kinda have, like
What are attacks? The
yeah,
head, the leg,
yeah.
the arm. Yeah,
Yeah, your corner
it's
spots, like
it's crazy.
yeah.
Now were you always athletic? Were you always into sports and stuff like that? Like, so when you seen like the athleticism, that was that something that like you were transitioning for?
Um, no. It was this just random thing that I just saw on TV, and I kinda just picked it, and I never really did any sports in high school. My high school was actually like it was like its first year, so it was like in the city, right? And it was considered a business school, but like that was the year the recession happened, and it was just a lot that went on. So it was basically like a bullshit high school, right?
Yeah.
So, no, they didn't even have teams. I didn't do anything. I didn't do any sports. I didn't have an athletic background. This literally was like the first thing I've ever tried ever in my life that was like I was just like, "Yeah, I'm gonna do it. That's it."
That's awesome. So what were your hobbies? Like were you into theater, acting, movies? I know you're pretty pop culture inspired.
Yeah, so, this is, like, before everything was super cool to do, but, like,
Who was
anime
Cosmic? If
yeah.
we met Cosmic in high school, who were you in high school?
Alright, in high school, I was like, I still had, like, colorful hair, I always did, but I just, like, watched anime, I played video games, I was just, like, kinda there. I don't know. I don't know who I mean, I was, like, myself, but, um, I was more like a internet person, if you will.
Yeah.
So, I didn't really play any sports, I wish I did.
Yeah. Well, it's insane to see that now because like you
I
are athletic and
know.
you're
A
in the
lot of
gym
people
and
say that. They're
you're
like, "You never
jacked
done
up.
any of this stuff?" I know, they're like, "You never done this stuff?" I was like, "No."
Yeah, I thought for sure you would have
Especially
been like
when
a
I all
volleyball
started
player
it.
or
I
softball or
wish.
something. Yeah.
I really wish that. I feel like it's my high school. If I blame my high school, if I went to an actual high school with teams and stuff, I blame the New York public system, school system.
Hmm. You know, it's crazy too. Like a lot of body types. Like I'm trying to think like for women and men. You look at like their body types. And you're like, okay, they played football before this, or they were basketball because they're leaner and they're like this. So like 9 times out of 10, you have very powerful legs. You have thighs. You know what I mean? Like so, I was like, oh, guarantee softball or something like that,
I
and
had to work
nothing.
them up.
Yeah.
I actually love when people compliment my legs, especially like my quads, because
Hmm.
I had to work them up. There was a time I was so skinny, like I so it was like a plan, right? So like I saw this on TV and it was just like an idea that came into my head. So I was like, I should be like gearing up to like do pro wrestling, right? So I was like, let me fucking join a gym. I'm gonna join a gym. Even so, like I had a gym membership, but like all I did was like cardio. I didn't really do any strength training or anything like that. And you really didn't see women at the time doing strength training. That's like a rare thing. Not rare, but it's just it wasn't like mainstream how it is now.
Hmm.
So like I used to just do like cardio stuff. So then when I decided I was gonna do pro wrestling, they give you like those little I think like if you sign up for a gym, they give you like every 5 months or every 6 months or something, you do like something with a personal trainer for like 30 minutes or whatever. So like I'm talking to the personal trainer, I'm like, yeah, I wanna get strong. And he was like, okay, let's see what you could do. He was like, all right, give me 10 push-ups. I couldn't even do two. I was so freaking skinny. I was so damn skinny that my arms were like shaking. I was like, "Oh shit. I'm in fucking trouble."
Well, that just goes to your perseverance and your determination and your passion to do this. Like you transformed yourself. Like you have a great look. I mean, the athleticism came from nowhere, especially having no background, and you put on muscle mass. And like I proud of you. You know what I mean? Like even just the short time I've met you from PPW to watching what you do now, you're completely different in the ring.
Well, thanks.
Yeah.
Makes me feel good inside.
So yeah, so you transitioned from fan to wrestler. You did the wrestling. You started in some schools, and then where you ended up now. So currently, let's talk about where you're training and some of the people who've helped you along the way.
Yes, so I'm currently training Fallout, and that's located in Brooklyn, and it's part of the Battle Club branch. And I really can't say enough about this school. I mean, it's also like to each their own, right? Some people can wrestle and they don't need to go to training school or whatever their system is. Everyone has their own thing that works for them. But I always felt like for me, I needed to be constantly doing something, like the grind, if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like I can't be one of those people that's like, I haven't done nothing in 2 months. Get in there, fucking kill it. That's not me. I have to like be on top of my shit all the time. You know what I mean? Like which is why I really, really appreciate my coaches. There's currently well, there's 4 coaches and then we have some co-coaches now. So there's like a little bit more, but um they are always on top of me. They call me out for my shit. Like anything I do, they're like, "Why you did this? Why you did this? Why do this better? Do this better?" There's like they nitpick at everything you do, and I guess some people don't appreciate that, but I do. I like it because it's then next time I'm doing something, I'm aware of what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah,
So yeah.
I and you're not the only one. I've seen other people go through there and then like just a couple months later see them where they were and then where they are now. So whatever the coaching staff is doing there, I'm not sure who they all are. If you want to tell us, you can. But like,
Yeah.
kudos to them. Fallout. You guys are putting together good stuff. Actually, there was somebody who very early on, we had a conversation, and she was in a really rough spot. Like she had a match. We were at a show, and she like I just looked at her and I was like, she's not having a good time right now. Like it literally looked like she was in that spot where she's like she might go to her car and just never do this
Oh
again. That's
no.
what she looked like. Um, and I kind of pulled her aside. I was like, hey, I'm not trying to be weird or anything like that, but like you need to talk. And she's like, yeah. and then we became friends. You know, and I was like, listen, you should probably like, where you from? And she told me, and I was like, you should look at this place. And I sent her like to that area. I'm like, I think they have good teams and stuff. And she ended up going there.
Who who is it?
I don't know. I don't know. Yeah.
I think
I mean, I'll tell you.
if it's who I think it is, I think I know who it is,
Who do
but
you think it is?
uh, I'm not gonna say her name just in
Okay.
case, but we
Yeah.
love her a lot.
Yeah,
This little
she struggled for
firebomb.
a while with
Yeah.
her gear. She struggled with her
Yes.
character, and
Yes.
I pulled her
Yes.
aside, and
Yes.
I
Yes.
was like, "You are athletic. You have a
Yeah.
great look,
Yeah. She's
but
got a great background too.
your
Yeah.
in ring wasn't up to par." And I was like, "Honestly, my pitch for your character is just be like, yo, I'm pretty. I don't have to be good at this. I can like, you know what I mean? Because then like you're gonna get hated as a heel, and then you're gonna develop as a wrestler, but you're going to work on the character first. And I think like if you have a strong character and start that and then bring the talent, the in-ring up with it, you're going to be fine. And I think that gave her a lot of like she used to send me footage of her matches and everything like that. And I was just it was funny because I was like, yo, work the crowd more, like be
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
heel.
She's
And the first time she came out, she didn't know how to be a heel, so she just walked out and flipped off the crowd and like just walked around the ring flipping.
I wish I would have seen that.
Oh, it was amazing. It was amazing. And I was like, good heel work. But
Turn
it
it
was just
down. Turn
like,
it down.
yeah, you're just like,
You-
fuck you all.
I didn't say take out a knife and fucking stab everyone. Like,
But she's such an absolute sweet. She actually just posted something like a couple months ago where she got gear, and I was like, look at the gear. And she's like, I got gear. Like,
yeah.
she's like, so I was like, I thought that was a good fit for her as well. And you can see
Yeah.
she's evolving and getting
Yeah.
better. And you
We
guys have a
love
good
our Nikki Duke. We do.
Nikki Duke there. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Love her to death. She's such a
I was
sweet.
thinking, I was like, is that who you think I was like, is that who you're thinking about? But yeah, she actually did hit me up, and she was like, because we did like a match at PPW, but then she hit me up later on, and she was like, hey, what school do you go to and stuff? So I told her about and I kept trying to tell her like, just come, it's cool, whatever. And she came like a few times, but now she's like totally on board, which
She's
is
had some
great.
bad experiences where she was in schools and girls were kind of mean girling her. You know what I mean? And treating her like shit. And then but she's passionate and she loves the business and she wants to do it. But it just seemed like she either went to a place, and this is no disrespect to any other school that she went to, but like it seemed like she went to a school and either she got mean girled or she went to a school and she was pretty and nobody would tell her when she sucked. And they were just like, you're fine, you got this. You know what I mean? Like they were just gaslighting her instead of
Yeah.
like they were taking her money to say, hey, you train here, and they weren't helping her get better. They weren't giving her those hard conversations. And I'm really, really happy she found her home and she found her people and her tribe, and she's getting better because she's a really sweetheart. Like she's a sweet person.
I do have to say this. I've actually seen this. Not I'm not saying like with her. I'm saying people who kind of like I don't know, feel like they get like a ticket or a pass to treat each other like shit or treat another
Hmm.
person like shit because you might have had a better night than them. I never understood that. Like at the end, we're all performers and we all have one thing in common, which is we all share the same dream,
Hmm.
regardless of levels and who started when and where you trained from. Like we all share in the same dream, which I think it's so beautiful. We all
Yeah.
have the dream to become this like great wrestlers, poor wrestlers, performer. So I just never understood like coming in there and being like, haha, you can't do this right. Like,
Yeah. Help the person.
yeah, that doesn't, yeah. And also, it doesn't really make you a better person. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just like, it just, to me, it doesn't add anything to that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not. It's super toxic and it's definitely not needed. But so the character, the persona, the person we know as Cosmic. How did the name, how did the character, where did it come from? What are you inspired by?
Okay, so if you guys don't know already, I am completely obsessed with Sailor Moon. I've been obsessed with Sailor Moon since I was 5. So that you see how people have their own wrestling stories of like, I saw this when I was 5.
Hmm.
Sailor Moon was my thing. Like I was this obsessed little girl. Like my parents are originally Dominican, right? So or they're Dominican, so they speak Spanish. That's their first language. So at home, I spoke Spanish until I went to kindergarten. My mom says that it was just like one day I didn't talk about Sailor Moon, and then the next day I did, and I never stopped. I never shut up. And she had no idea what the hell I was talking about because she only spoke Spanish. So she didn't know anything. All she can say was Sailor Moon and then question mark. Like, no, she had no idea. So she didn't know where to get me toys for it. She didn't know nothing. You know, understand? So it's like this Dominican household, Spanish speaking primarily.
And you're just
This
throwing Japanese
me,
animation
yeah,
into it.
yeah, me learning to speak English at the same time as going to school, right? At kindergarten, that's where I'm introduced to English, and then also just throwing in Japanese anime, just like for the fucking hell of it.
Yeah, you culturally you were a melting pot. You're just like, I'll take it all in.
Yeah.
I if I'm not so I apologize. I am not an anime fan. I'm not. I tried. It just I for some reason I just can't attach myself to it. I think the closest I ever got when I was a kid, I watched a lot of Speed Racer. I really liked
Oh,
Speed
Speed
Racer.
Racer, yeah, I watched
Yeah.
that too. My mom watched
Boondocks,
that
but that's
too.
like Americanized anime. It's very anime
Yeah, yeah,
inspired, but it's
it,
Americanized.
yeah.
Um, but I struggle with anime. Like I tried, I've watched so many, and I was like, try this one, try that one. I've tried. I'm a pop culture kid. I gave it a shot. It just like they're always crying. I'm sad and depressed all the time myself, and they're just always crying. Every episode's like a mental breakdown. I was like, I can't handle this.
It's I love it. I live once you start hearing like the soft violin or
Yeah,
you know what
it's
I
over.
mean? Like the tempo starts slowing down and there's some fucking like petals of flowers in the
The
background flowing.
teardrop.
You already know. I'm already there like what's going on? Who's gonna open up? What background am I gonna be open to? Like why is this person like this? Show me.
Yeah. And
But
the
I mean
first anime
it's an
I
acquired
think I
taste.
seen was Sailor Moon. I believe that was like the
Yeah.
first one because like this girl I was friends with growing up, she loved Final Fantasy. That was her shit. And then
Yeah.
she loved Sailor Moon. And I was like, what is this? Like the art is cool. Like the idea of these female character. Like I grew up with a superhero, pro wrestling, male dominated everything. And then I see these characters that are like female Care Bears. They all have their color and their logo and their whole nine. I was like, that's kind of dope that like you have something that represents you. And I didn't like or like your culture or like you know what I mean like female empowerment and like even as a kid I was like that's kind of a dope idea for a show and then like looking back you're like that's been around for a long time.
So Sailor Moon, it's not just an anime, but it's a particular kind of genre for anime. And it's actually like the, I guess you would say like the trademark for what's called magical girl anime. So it's
Hmm.
like you say magical girl right away, you think Sailor Moon because that's the most widely known pop culture in anywhere for magical girl anime. But it's actually a genre, and there's a bunch of different ones where it's basically you have a girl who participates in magic, right? And they have to go through a transformation and such. So yeah,
Yeah,
that's it's not just anime. Like I enjoy anime, but I
Alex is all
love
in the chat. Or
yeah, I
magical girl.
love yes. So
I'm not even
Cardcaptor
gonna try to
Sakura,
pronounce that.
yeah.
Yeah, Sakura.
Sakura,
Okay.
yeah. Yeah, so I love magical girl anime. Like still I still like anytime any new magical girl anime comes out, I'm like I love it. I'm going crazy. I don't care that the audience is supposed to be 11 years old. I love it. That
Yeah,
is for me.
wrestling keeps me young at heart. Like a part of me sometimes even in wrestling, you know, people go, I can't stand when wrestling's PG. I don't like I like when it's more adult themed, and that's fine. And I some listen, I like going to my GCWs and hearing wrestlers say fuck and get crazy and bloody. But then also like I look at it and I go, man, if that was as thrown in my face as it was back in the day, like you do need some kiddiness in there. Like you like even though I don't like him as a person, but Hogan was important back in the day. John Cena is important. Like those baby face characters, those like they're important for wrestling. I know they're corny and they're tough for like the older fan to adapt to and be like, I support that person. But like you look at a kid in the crowd and you're like, oh, this is why it's still PG-13. This is why there's still that kid element to this industry because it's not always made for just one. Like we've evolved, but wrestling has to evolve with us, but also stay true so the younger generation can enjoy it too. And like you said, like just kind of your anime or your video games or anything like that. It's fun to kind of like keep that kid inside you alive.
I think also like it's so many people out there and different tastes. I remember when I was first watching Cody Rhodes had like broken his nose So he
Hmm.
was wearing like the weird mask thing, and he was acting like he was so ugly, like he couldn't be seen, like nobody look at me. Like it was so dramatic that he was so ugly. And I used to laugh and I used to be like, I can't believe adults sit and watch this. And it's like a novela, like a real novela with people like with men wearing little shorts and like attacking
Hmm.
each other.
Yep.
So I thought it was just so bizarre because it was kind of like this thing where I was just like, how is this still going? Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like how
Half
is like
naked. I call it half naked soap operas.
yeah, yeah, it really was. I was watching like Cody Rhodes act so ugly, and I think he was feuding at the time with Dolph Ziggler. I can't really remember, but it was just like so dramatic, and everyone was like partaking it. He had like the thing where he covered up like half his face, but then he took it off, and everybody was just like, "He's so ugly." He just looked like a regular
And he
dude.
just had a black eye. Yeah, it's amazing. So the anime inspired the character. What are the name like cosmic? Like, is that derived from something?
Yeah, so I was really obsessed with Sailor Moon, and then as a child of the internet, I would, you'd have to make your own usernames and stuff like that. I always chose Cosmic. Sailor Moon's transformation brooch, she has like a little incantation she says before she transforms, and one of the words was cosmic. So I always thought, I don't know, I just felt like that was me. That was my chosen word.
I love it. I love that so much.
Yeah.
Now where you're kind of coming from now, I know we can kind of go back to your training a little bit here and where you're at, but like who do you watch currently or like go back and watch tape of that inspire you to like a style of wrestler or someone you pull from to be like, this is what I'm trying to mimic or not mimic, but pull from to add to my arsenal?
Okay, so first I would say my coaches. So I do want to name them. Obviously you guys know Masha Slamovich.
The first ever female
Yes,
GCW world
yes,
champion.
yes.
Love Masha
And
so
now
much.
she was also Sports Illustrated #1 women wrestler. So
Uh,
a
I think
wrestler in the
she was the
ye-
top 10. She was top 10.
top 10. Sorry, not top #1, top 10. Sorry.
Bianca was
Yeah,
number 1, but
yeah. I
to
was,
be,
I
to
was,
be on a, it was literally WWE, AEW, I think one Japanese stardom name,
and
and then
then
Masha.
Masha. Yeah,
Masha was the only like independent person on that list. So the fact
I
that she's
know.
being dude, I've been telling people for the past 4 years, get on the Masha train. I'm telling you, get on the like I've been like I'd seen her at Camp Leapfrog, and I was like, she's the truth. Like she's so good. Like the heel work, yeah, she's psychotic.
She's great.
Yeah.
She's when if you really wanna meet someone who's about it, she's about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, but, and then we also have, Steve Pena, and then we have Mike Law or Colossal Mike Law. Sorry, I can't leave that out. He gets really mad about it, you know? And then we have, Jorge Santi, and then we also have the co-coaches, which is, like, Ahmed, uh,
I love
yeah.
that man. I love that
I
man to
know.
death.
Everyone who watches him is always like I love watching him because it's always like I feel like I should have like a cheat sheet. Like every time he does something, I'm like, oh yeah. You know what I mean? Like I'm trying to
He's
record it in my head because I'm like, how do you transition so flawlessly into these random things that
His name has come up on this podcast a
yeah.
lot. He's my favorite person to do commentary for because it's always a different match. Every single match is different from him. He's so insanely humble behind that character, and when you see him behind the
Oh,
stage,
are we talking
but
about the
he,
same person? No. I'm
but he is someone who I honestly feel like he should be on TV within the next year or two. He's so
He's so
goddamn
great.
talented. Yeah,
So he's the Egyptian torture.
the Egyptian
Yeah,
torture expert.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
expert. Yeah,
Yep. I
he's
was literally,
really
I think last podcast I was wearing his t-shirt.
oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, I saw he did, like, a show at, was it, like
Sanctuary.
yeah, Sanctuary, yeah, yeah,
He's
yeah,
the new
that's the one,
Sanctuary
yeah,
world
yeah,
champion. Yeah.
yeah, I did, I saw
I got to call
that.
that. That was awesome.
Wow.
Love that man.
Um, and then we have, Akira, who's with going on with Masha, and then we have Steve, the ref, who's with Law. Um, but yeah, those are my coaches, and I literally watch all their stuff, like, all the time, like I don't know. There's different things you watch for, right? So like I watch also Manami Toyota.
Hmm.
So she's someone I love watching because I just think that she's so like I don't know, it's just like watching a pinball like move around on, you know what I mean? Like she's so I love watching her wrestle. Everything
I feel
she
like
does.
Stardom would be a great thing for you to watch because it's very the Japanese culture inspired, and then like the wrestling side of it
Yeah, yeah,
too.
yeah. I saw that they have
It's like
is
live
this
action Sailor Moon, except they don't
yeah,
really fly.
yeah.
Yeah.
And their belt is so cute. I was like, "Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, I love their belt." Yeah. So I watched like all their stuff. For like I'm trying to think, 'cause, like mostly like I watch people for their moves, right? So
Hmm.
like if I'm trying to like recently I was like I want to get really good at doing arm drag. So I'm just like watching Ricky Steamboat over and over. They have like a compilation on YouTube that you can just watch him do it over and over and over. And I'm still thinking in my head like how the fuck this, you know what I mean? Like how am I supposed to do this? Like
Yeah, that's crazy. Now, one of the things I talk to a lot with independent talent is when they say like, um, you have that moment or a match, or you get booked against somebody, or you kind of have that opportunity to sit backstage with somebody, and that match like it clicks for you. You have that moment where you're like, oh, like so that piece fell into the puzzle. Like this person was able to like show you backstage and then in the ring kind of get you to that level. And then from then on, you're just like, I'm on a different, I've evolved. You know what I mean? I've hit that next stage. Have you had that match yet? And if so, who was the opponent?
have I had that next? Haven't had that match yet.
There's
I
a
have to
match
say
for me as a fan watching you that I felt like you had a little bit of that moment.
I want to say with Masha when we were talking about the match, her way of like going about it was different than from
Hmm.
what I've heard other people go about it. Like you hear people call the match and they kind of call the match the same way, right? She doesn't, she calls it differently and then she kind of opened my eyes to like a different way to think about stuff. So I was like, "Oh, this actually makes sense."
Yeah.
Yeah. She doesn't like I don't know how to explain it. She'll like usually they call the end and then they'll just be like insert move, insert move, insert move, insert move. Hers is more like combos, if that
Hmm.
makes sense. So
Yeah.
it's like this leads into this. So it's kind of like makes sense what you're doing instead of just like move A, move B, move C. You know what I
I have no
mean?
idea how you guys remember a whole match like that.
Yeah.
I've seen people put matches together. I'm like, I would never be able to do this. I'm
It's a
such
little
an
bit
improv
tricky
person that I don't know if
sometimes.
I'd be able to do that. But
It's a little bit tricky.
your match for me that I felt like I was like, oh shit, Cosmic, she's getting it, and this match was awesome. Was it was a tag team match. I want to say a mixed tag team match, but there was only one guy in it. The rest were all females. It was you and Rem versus Danny Moe and Tessa Blanchard.
Oh, right. I forgot about that match. I'm
And I
like, "What?"
yeah, and I felt like because controversy aside, like I got to have a conversation with her and talk a lot about the controversy that surrounds her. I've never had a negative experience with her. I thought she's always been super sweet and super helpful and a great person to be with backstage. And I think even with her not even being on the scene as actively, I still think she's top 3 in the world as a professional wrestler, female, like professional wrestler and female professional wrestler. She's so incredibly good. And you guys had really good chemistry in that match.
I can't really remember what we did. Can you clue me in? I can't even remember
It was a
sometimes.
lot of it was like there was the Gaga spots because there was like the comedy with like Rem being involved in it, but like you and Tessa had like some strong style moments where you took some Germans from her and then you
Oh, right.
like and like the strong style fights and stuff that you got
Yeah, yeah.
like you guys throwing some elbows at each other and like that's Tessa's bread and butter is just like
Yeah, yeah.
essentially
I
being a mean
remember,
bitch in
yeah.
that ring and like you met her halfway like you guys collided and it was good. But then you
She,
also did the lucha stuff with Danny Moe. Like, so you were like in one match, you were like strong style with Tessa, and then you were um lucha more with Danny, but then you were also doing the Gaga funny stuff and heel work with Rem in the whole mix. Like it was just a lot going on, and for you, like I felt like it was a lot thrown at you, and you handled it beautifully. Like you had two different styles going on, plus doing the heel work, plus telling the story of the match, and I thought it was really really good.
so like I think that was the first match that I got over. Um I was going through a phase where I was like hitting girls, but I was kind of like cautious about it. So I was kind of like you know what I mean? Like throwing these ugly like little whatever, and I didn't want people to be like, "Oh, she's dangerous to work with. She's," you know what I mean? So I was kind of like just not really hitting. So I
Yeah.
wasn't really connecting. I was not doing it was not looking good. And then I believe it was at Fallout they were just like, "You're just going to learn to fucking throw them, and if they
They'll
cry,
let you
they
know when you're too
cry."
hard.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they'll let you
like
know.
if they cry, they cry. So then I think that was like the first match that I was just like, I told her beforehand, I was like, "Look, I am a little bit heavy-handed. I don't mean to hit people on like,
She's
to
like,
make
"Hi, I'm
them."
Tessa Blanchard."
Yeah, so she was like, "Yeah, go ahead, just rock my shit." I was like, "All right, let's do it." I was
Yeah,
like,
she's
"Perfect."
you're heavy-handed. Hi, I'm
Yeah.
Tessa. I'm gonna give him right back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
really go. You can check that on Fight TV. Just search PPW. I don't remember the name of the show, but it's definitely on there. It was a
it
really
was
good
the one
match.
with the kid, he did the moonsault. Okay,
Yeah,
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 yeah. That
it
was
was
a
good.
lot. You're right. There was a lot of stuff in that match.
Was a lot going on. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was really, really good. And then kind of just going back, and now that I actually found the YouTube page to watch more of that stuff, I seen you and Trisha Dora, which I'm a huge
Yes.
Trisha Dora fan. You guys
Yes.
had a great match there. Like, I mean, you in a short amount of time, you put some pretty heavy hitters on your resume that you got to be in the ring and work with.
Well, the New York scene, I have to say we're pretty good on female talent.
Hmm.
I cannot say anything bad about female talent in New York City. And then they're also like, it's like a hotbed. So it's like if you go to Chicago and people are getting flown out, half of them are from New York City. We're all just there again. Like, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like it could just been another New York City show.
Yeah. PA is struggling right now with their female scene. Like there's only maybe a handful of people who are doing, and then even them, they're traveling out because the PA scene doesn't really, and I'm not throwing shade, but a lot of the PA scene doesn't respect women's wrestling. They don't give it a shot, and they can't bring people in, and they don't, like, a woman gives a rate and they're like, "Nah, I'd rather just pay and bring somebody else in," because they don't really respect the women's side of wrestling. And I think that's bullshit. Jersey scene, it's better, but it's still, it needs a catch up. It's tough. You go to these companies and they don't have a women's division. It's like, insert women's champion here, and we're going to struggle every week to bring an opponent in for them. And if they can't bring an opponent, well, hun, you're going to be in a mixed tag this week. You know what I mean? And that sucks for women's wrestling in those two scenes. And I love both those states. I don't get to work a lot in New York. I've never really done it yet, but like, you're right. The New York scene is definitely where it's at when it comes to female wrestling.
You can just tell those PA girls like just come to New York. We're all like, we're all, it's just a 5 hour drive, no big deal.
Yeah, I mean, hey, if it's your dream, that's what you got to do, right?
Oh, definitely. Those Hazelton days, oh my God.
I literally just lost a car. My car exploded. Like, I have no car right now, so I'm like,
Exploded?
well, I mean, the transmission just blew up while I was on the road, so like, it's dead. It's dead in the water. And to fix the transmission costs more than the actual car's worth. So I'm just like, well, got to figure this out now. But yeah, putting miles on cars is that's a thing. Here you go. The Duke from the HEDD network says the New
Oh,
York
the
has the best female.
knuckleheads. Yeah.
Yeah.
So is this toe tag or
I believe so. I'm not sure. Well, I appreciate them coming in and give a follow. If you're a content creator, man, hit me up. We'll collaborate. I love meeting new people and working with people. Plus, if you have that New York scene, I'm always trying to learn more about different scenes. New York is definitely where I struggle right now, but when it comes to the three states in my area, so I gotta get more up there and learn that stuff. Um, yeah, I'm trying to. I had another question, but I lost it. I got sidetracked. We were talking about everything. Oh, so currently champion. Let's walk through that.
Hmm.
We'll kind of pull back the curtain a little bit if you're okay with that. But like, when you get told by a promotion, like, hey, we believe in you. We're gonna put the strap on you, and also you're gonna beat probably one of the top prospects in independent wrestling right now when it comes to female talent to do so. Like, where are you at mentally? How did you find that news out? How was it broke to you?
Okay, so Battle Club is owned by Joe Kim and Morales, and when I went to Fallout, he was like excited and stuff, and I would always tell him like, "Why are you so excited?" It's like, I'm not that good. I'm like here, you know what I mean? Like I'm not. And then he'll just be like, "Don't worry, you don't have to dream. I'll dream for you." You know what I mean? Like you don't have to think you're good. I'll think you're good for you. So every time I would come in to train and stuff. I would get a little bit better. He'd put on just he'd throw me in these matches, and even like the very first match he threw me in, I was like, I don't know, I don't know if I can, do this. And he was like, you got this, don't worry about it, you got it. So he would just like push me in there, and he even when he told me that I was gonna get the belt, I was like, "Are you sure? Like, you sure you want me to do this? Like, I don't think I'm ready. You don't want to wait a year? Like, give me like another year. I feel like in a year maybe I'll say yes, maybe." And he was like, "No, no, no. You're doing this now. It's now or never." And I was like, "Oh God." So I really appreciate you, Joe. I love you so much.
I appreciate you too, Joe, because sometimes
Yeah,
the people in this industry mean, yeah, this industry is amazing and it's a great dream, but it beats the shit out of you and it can ruin
yeah.
your confidence. And it only takes that one person to believe in you and say like, hey, like you may not believe in you right now, but I do, and we're gonna
But
we're
it's
gonna work
not
through
just
it.
me, that's, like, what's so amazing about him. He's like this with so many other
Yeah,
people, even, like, people who are students who don't or people who don't come to Fallout. He, like, sees, like, the bigger picture, like, he sees cosmic in, like, whatever the most cosmic I'm supposed to be before I can see it, and he's already like, "You're doing this," and I've seen him do it for, like, other people, and it's just like, I don't know. I really wouldn't know where I would be if it wasn't for him.
what is it called when Sailor Moon like gets in that Super Saiyan mode?
Super Saiyan mode.
Well,
She has
she
this
has a form where she like gets Diesel,
she
right? Yeah.
something like that. She goes through phases. So she's like
Is that what it's
regular
actually?
Sailor.
It's actually called phases, right?
Yeah, so
Yeah,
she goes
yeah.
through her phase and she goes and turns into Super Sailor Moon, then she turns into like, eventually it's just like she turns into Eternal Sailor Moon. It's just like this is phases, but yeah.
Yeah, you need different phase gear. Like
Yeah.
like
Oh,
you're on that next phase now.
you
You know
think
what I mean? Yeah.
so?
Actually, I do remember now as you said phases because that friend we're back to Sailor Moon, ADHD. We're like Tarantino movies here in this show. Um there was a card game. I believe she had a card game and it
A
was like
trading card
Pokemon
game.
and then
Yeah.
like you had to to get your Sailor Moon strong, you had to get her phases up and that was
Yeah.
part of the card game.
I never played the trading card game. I think all anime actually, like literally every anime show, I think comes out with trading card games, and they somehow figure it out. Like I don't know what the premises of the game is,
Yeah.
but they make it work.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah,
Thank you, Alex, for coming in and hanging out. Please check out other episodes, man. Like I try to showcase very, very good talent and good people in this industry, and Cosmic's one of many. So I appreciate you coming in and checking it out. You're the best. Monkey says I was the kid that gave you the finger at PPW.
there was too many kids that gave me the
Yeah, there's
finger.
so many.
And
My
look at you
favorite,
back here
bro, you popped
in
me so
love.
hard on commentary one time where this kid was somebody was giving you shit or some little girl was giving you shit and you literally looked at her and goes, I don't care if you hate me, your dad loves me. And I was on commentary like, yeah.
Yeah.
Like without even hesitation. Like there's not enough of that. Honestly, like and it's how do I say this without sounding strange or whatever, but like female empowerment or like when a woman uses her sexuality
Yeah.
in her advantage, it's not used enough, especially in pro wrestling. I always wanted that female Ric Flair. Like if Charlotte came out one day and she's like, even you fat boy in the front row, I'll make you cry. Like, you know what I mean? Like come to my hotel room and I'll make a
Yeah.
man out of you. Like
Yeah.
that would be an amazing character. And you
Yeah.
kind of lean into that where you're just
Yeah, I
and I
do. When people
even
ask
more so
me
on
like,
social
yeah.
media than on your character in the ring. But I think it's gonna come out more as a character when you're there. But it's my absolute favorite. Oh, Heidi, running by Heidi here. But no, it's really really good. When you said that, you popped me so hard on commentary. I was like, that is fucking hilarious.
Uh-huh.
I don't remember what I said, but I was like, that was amazing. You can hate me all you want, honey, but your dad loves
I
me.
remember her expression. She was like,
Yeah.
"Yeah."
Yeah, it's definitely a lost art, and it needs to happen more in professional, especially with a female, like someone just to lean into that character to just be like, you use it, it's there. You're getting essentially most females are being sexualized anyway, but take the power back. You know what I mean?
I mean,
I love
yeah,
it.
that's what I believe in. Like I understand that some women don't want to cross the line because they don't want to, be viewed only as this thing. But I feel like personally, I like it. And I, you know what I mean? Like, I know I'm cute. You don't have to tell me. Like, I can tell because when I walk by, your eyes follow me. You don't have to let me know.
Hashtag favorite right
Yeah.
there. Hashtag your favorite. So, what are some future plans for you in this wrestling business? Where do you see yourself? Where do you want to take yourself?
Hmm. Where do I want to take myself? Uh, I just want to be the most cosmic I can be. Um, so like I want to live out this character. Um, I would love to see Cosmic on the grand stage have these, elaborate gears and just I don't know. I don't really want to like be like this is my only thing, this is my only road. I'm pretty much open to anything. Um Basically anyone who wants to take me, I guess. We're going to make it work. Like I'm just
Yeah.
going to make it work. Wherever I end up, it's going to work.
If there is a women's division, we'll say on the bigger scenes, where do you think you fit in, or where do you think, like, if you had, like, where would you want to go out of all the different companies? Because me personally, like, there's maybe one company's women division that I love the roster, but I think the storylines and what they're doing with the women's division isn't as strong for me as others. And then there's one that, like, I think two companies that I think their women's division is better than the men's divisions at some point in time. Like AEW, I love AEW's women's division as a roster. Like, it's got some of my favorite people to watch, like Willow, Athena, Ruby Soho, like Tony Storm, I mean, Saraya back. Like, that's a great thing, but the stories aren't grabbing me as much, and I love Jade, I love Britt. Like, that's a great division, but I struggle with the connecting to it. WWE right now, I struggle. I love that, I mean, because they don't have straight direction, and I love Charlotte and I love Bianca. NXT's women's division is
Yeah.
fucking awesome. I
Yeah. I was
love
going
it.
to say NXT.
NXT has a great, and Impact's
Yeah.
women's
Yeah.
division is fucking amazing. Like
Yeah.
Deanna, Masha, like there's so many good people there. It's just, but where do you see, like, where would you like to mix it up at?
I mean, the one thing I want to say about AEW is I think they kind of got it a little bit right with Jade. There has to be more larger than life characters. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Especially for the women. I just I don't know how to say it. I want to say like you know how Marvel tries to make their superheroes seem more human by giving them like I'm Spider-Man, but I'm actually broke and really depressed.
Yeah,
Like I'm not looking for that. I'm looking
yeah,
for Superman who can take down a fucking building by like fucking flicking his finger. If
yeah.
if you understand what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't want to make like the same connection like, oh, her and I are the same person. We're on the same. No, I want to see stars. I want to have stars in my eyes when I look at you. Like that's what I feel like that's what
That's
I
be
want for
that's that's
Cosmo
be that's
for
Bianca
Cosmic.
Bianca Belair right now
Yeah.
for me. Like, I look
Yeah.
at Bianca Belair, I'm like, that's a bad chick right there.
Yeah.
Like,
I want to be a larger than life character.
I definitely think you can be. Do you prefer working the face or the heel? Like, where do you would you like?
I obviously prefer heel because it's
Yeah,
where I thrive. It's where I'm more natural at. I can just come up with stuff on the fly and whatever.
and it's funny
Um,
because you're a good heel, but fans respond to your heel work in a
I
positive way.
know. I don't know. Yeah, I've been trying to shake that off a little bit, but it
Do
doesn't
the
matter what
Nikki,
I.
just walk out,
Yeah,
walk out. If you
like
ever wrestle Nikki, as soon as you hit the curtain, just do that. Just
yeah. I remember this, Nikki.
yeah. Oh my god, I just remember another thing. She sent me a footage of her one match, and I was like, "Can I ask you a question?" And I'm not trying to be weird again. She goes, "What?" I'm like, "Are your pants too tight?" She's like, "Why?" I was like, "Bro, you get up like a 95-year-old man. Like, you put all your weight on your lead leg and you stand up like you." She's like, "I don't even know why I do that." Like, and I was like, "I thought it was your pants with your knee pads. Like, I thought you couldn't move." When she used to wear like the red pants with the black top.
I do
Like,
remember
what
the
it was just like
snakeskin,
she just
right?
put clothes on and went to the ring.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Funny. I don't know. She's a doll. I love her.
Yeah, I love Nikki.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's what you gotta do. That's just go out and Nikki Duke them. Just flip them all off. That's it.
Yeah.
Because even the match with Trish, you were heel, but like you were the baby face. They loved you.
Yeah. Yeah. It doesn't matter what I do. They They just love me. It's
because you're the favorite.
I know. I'm literally their favorite, like
Yeah,
literally.
people cheer MJF, and he's supposed to be the biggest
Yeah.
heel in the company. It happens.
I could
Um,
literally like stare at someone and tell them to shut up, and they love it. They
yeah,
love it.
stars in their eyes.
Yeah, they
That's what I'm
just
saying. That's what you want. You want to be larger than life. You're doing it. You're an icon. Knucklehead here. I think he said that's toe tags. Said
yeah,
future WWE champion.
maybe we'll see.
Yeah. Speaking of Jada, who do you think? Who do you think's the one to take Jade out?
I don't know yet. That's the
Yeah.
thing. Like the
Everyone's
thing
saying
is, I feel
Statlander.
okay. So the thing is like I do like how they build her up, right? She's like this big like fighting machine, but except she doesn't really fight. That's the only problem. You know what I mean? Like her stature is great, her look is great, her vibe is great. They
Her
just
in ring's getting better as it goes
yeah,
too.
they just need to put her in with someone where she can literally like bash heads in with like
You
both
know
of
who
them.
I thought her best opponent has been so far in this entire run? I thought her 2 matches with Willow were the best.
I thought so too. They were
I
pretty
really like
good.
Willow. I
I
think
also
Willow,
like the difference of personality there. Like
yeah, because
yeah.
Willow has a cool character where she's like she's bubbly and smiley.
Yeah. Yeah.
You would know like with the I don't know what they
Yeah.
were called, but they were like the cute bunny rabbits, and they would like smile, but like when you pissed them off, they turned into like psychopathic killers. You know what I'm talking about? Like they were
Was
like the
it
happy,
was it the happy tree friend thing? But
yeah,
that
like
was I
yeah.
don't think they were like angry. I think they were just like freaking suicidal or whatever the hell they were.
Well, they would just get angry and
Yeah,
like
yeah,
fucking snap out. Like that's Willow,
yeah,
because like halfway through a
yeah,
match, she goes from bubbly to like nah, f
yeah,
that. Almost
yeah,
like she's like the New
yeah,
Yorker comes out in her. You
yeah.
know what I mean? I thought she had good matches. Athena over in AEW and ROH. She had great matches with her, but I think Monet comes in, and I think she's the one to beat her.
So you think she's actually coming?
I think so. I think that's where they're gonna go around.
She's like CEO of is it
Well, her
um
contract's officially done with Japan.
oh
She is officially her contract is up, but she wants to still work there. But if she wants to keep working in Japan and she wants to bounce back and forth and she wants to take dates in America, I think like AEW is going to be her best bet. And Naomi, they said she's going to make
I
the
did
rumor is
hear
Naomi
rumors
shows
of
up in
Naomi.
Impact in this
I
Friday.
and I love Naomi's athleticism. That woman she can move like
Yeah, yeah, she's a badass. But yeah, it's great, and it's like her those they both essentially left the big stage and shown that women's wrestling has a value. Like Sasha said, like, nah, man, we can make this money here too. You know what I mean? Like, I like that. Here you go. She tells me to shut up all the time, and it's the moment of the night for me. Some people like humiliation
I
kink. Like, we're
know,
not
yeah.
here to judge, you know.
A lot more than you think.
I be seeing your IG
Yeah,
stories; they're
yeah,
amazing. I
yeah.
just be sending laugh emojis at
I
her. Like
know.
you're
People
popping
always
it.
ask me like, "Are those real responses?" I'm like, "Yeah, you think I just sit there and send them to myself?"
Bro,
Like,
I doing meet and greets for as long as I've been doing meet and greets and being partnered up with both sides of the spectrum. Dudes are weird sometimes.
yeah.
Like that's the first thing I tell when I'm like working with. I'm like, yo, just if you like give me a safe word or a pineapple or whatever, like you know what I mean, like. If someone I'll push them along. I play the bad guy. That's my job as like a meet and greet person. Just all right, fuck off.
You're the
You know what I
bouncer.
mean?
You're
Yeah.
like, no
Um,
one crosses this line here.
yeah. Like you get the picture and they bring like, you're like, yo,
Yeah.
chill, homie. Yeah. It's a lot. But like I said, I like how you control it and you're always you're in charge of the situation, which is dope as fuck. So besides wrestling, let's like we kind of talked about Sailor Moon and stuff like that. But what are some other things besides the professional wrestling and the Sailor Moon? If like that Cosmic is into, what are your hobbies when you're not winning titles and busting heads?
One of the things I would love to do is I would love to do voice acting. So it doesn't have to be anime. It could be, but I love general like animation. So I would love to be part of like how do I explain it? So like the experience of when I was growing up with Sailor Moon and how it was such a large part of my life. I would like to do something like that. Or it's just kind of like if I hear Mark Hamill's voice anywhere, I can pick it up right away because it's like you know what I mean? Like it's just like it takes me back to like when I was a kid watching Batman or
Kevin
So
Conroy. Every time I
yeah.
read a Batman comic, I hear
Mhm.
him and Mark. That's my two voices in my head.
Even when it's not Mark Hamill, I'm like, this is not the Joker. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
so I would love to kind of do that.
Awesome. What games are you playing? What movies are you watching? What are you into?
Let's see. I play various games. Right. So like the most recent game I was playing was Phantasmaphobia with my friends, which is like
Is that the ghost one? You go hunt
yeah,
ghosts?
you go hunting for
I
ghosts. I
don't like
literally
it.
was playing that like a few hours ago.
I don't know if I can handle that.
It's good.
I
It's
hate
such
jump
a
scares. I
it's
hate
a
them.
good it's a good game. You should I love playing it when people are actually scared because it's like it picks up on your microphone. So when you say certain words, it triggers events. So like if you'll say like I'm scared, then you'll start hearing stuff only on your headphone. Like no one else hears
Oh,
it.
that's fucked
Yeah.
up.
So it's
That's
pretty
PC only,
cool.
right?
Yes, I think so far right now it's PC. Most of the games I play are on Steam or like my Nintendo Switch. I'm not really like a console person.
I
Um,
started doing more game streams. I started doing
yeah.
a Breath of the Wild, and it's infuriating. That game pisses me off so much.
Why?
It's because they don't tell you anything. They're just like, "Yo, here's the world. Figure it out." And they're like, "Oh, and by the way, you're never gonna get hearts. You're never gonna get anything. Also, your weapons are gonna break every 3 hits." Like, I'm like, "What the fuck is up with this?" Like, oh my god, it pisses me off.
Are you majorly a console person or
Yeah, I only like the when I do all my content on is this laptop. I want to eventually get a gaming PC because I don't want to put anything on this and overrun it and break it because if I break this, my content's done. You know what I mean? So
yeah, yeah.
I baby this thing. But I definitely want to get a gaming PC at some point. But for now, I pretty much I'm Xbox, the refrigerator Xbox, and I have a Switch.
Yeah, I have the Switch. I love the Switch because it's just like so casual, but it does have like real games and obviously Pokemon. That's always been like
Yeah,
any I actually have not played the latest one, which was like Violet and what
I
was it?
bought it and then I was waiting for the updates because it was like people were having a lot of issues with it, and I was like, I don't want to play it and have issues because it's gonna turn me off. So I just bought it and let it sit, and then the update came, and I just never turned it on yet. So it's
Aw.
still waiting for me. Maybe that'll be what I stream next.
Yeah, I should I wanna play it to experience it, but
Who's your favorite
um
Pokemon?
so I don't know if I should say. I feel like that's a personal, right? It's so personal. Like you know me like
I'll tell you
that.
mine.
Who do you think is my favorite Pokemon?
I want to feel like I'm gonna say a type of Pokemon. I feel like for some reason I feel like fairy is your jam. Like you're a fairy type, but I could be wrong. I am a dark ghost type, so I that's right. That's the wheelhouse I'm in. But I don't know. I see. I only really know the 151. Like anything after
Aw,
that, I don't really like the names. Kind of get out of me. I'm like I said, I'm a Gen 1 mostly everything. So I don't. I'm not. It's tough.
there's a lot of new dark Pokemon ghost types though. You're missing
Yeah, but
out.
I'm a Gengar guy all day long.
Okay, Gengar.
Give
Yeah.
me Gengar. That's my
Um, so I like to say I like Milotic, but actually my favorite Pokemon is Chikorita.
okay. I
Yeah.
wasn't I didn't want to give you like the basic like girl
Jigglypuff.
no, like everyone's like a version of Eevee. You know what
Yeah,
I
or
mean?
yeah,
Yeah.
is it Sylveon? The fairy
Yeah,
one?
something like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's actually I love Chikorita. That is my favorite Pokemon.
Yeah, Ghastly Hunter Gengar, but Gengar is definitely my favorite. I actually like the ghost that puts the sack on its head and makes it look stuff like Pikachu, Mimikyu or
Oh,
whatever.
Mimikyu, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
that one's kind of dope. I like reading
Yeah.
the bios because the bios are dark as
The
fuck.
lore is cute. It's like
Yeah,
he's nobody wants him. So he wants
but
to be like
if he
the mascot of
yeah, but
of
if
Pokemon.
he's seen, doesn't he like he's so terrifying that he fucks
Yeah.
like people like kill themselves after they
Yeah.
see him or something like it's
Yeah.
something real dark like that. Like he's so terrifying that he can't be seen, so he puts
Well,
the
like,
costume on.
even, like, if you remember Drifloon was just, like, a hot air balloon Pokemon, if that makes
Hmm.
sense, or it was, like, he, like, kidnaps kids into the night and shit, like,
Yeah,
that
it's like
you can
come with
only
me.
freaking find them on Wednesdays while it's raining. That I can't remember I was so mad about that when I was playing. I think it was, like I can't remember if it was Pearl, Diamond, whatever
Yeah.
the hell game I was playing at the time. It was, like, on my DS.
Ivan in the chat is good. Yo, if anyone has it, we're at the hour mark. This is usually where we wrap things up or get close to it. If anyone has anything in the chat, any questions, please get them in now while we wrap this up. Cosmic, where can people find you?
On my Instagram, that's mainly the platform I use. I have like Twitter and all that stuff, but I don't really use it. It's Yes Cosmic, Instagram.
Hunter, I think you had a question earlier that I might have. What's your favorite male wrestler and favorite female wrestler right now?
I've answered. So female wrestler right now, it says there's so many good ones. I don't know. I can't really pick.
Who do you
And
fangirl over?
I um I don't want to.
My wife does not watch wrestling, but every
I
time
really like Rhea
Rhea is on
Ripley,
screen,
yeah.
yeah,
I don't wanna seem like, but I get so excited when she's on the screen. She's
yeah,
so great, like, her character work is great, her faces are great, everything's so great about her.
she's a
Yeah, did you
mega
see
star.
that recent post that she was, like, working out her back? I was like, "Oh my god," like, it
Someone just said I guess like I've been doing. I don't really promote it, but it's on my YouTube channel. I've been doing like a video journal vlog, and a lot of it's just like sad cryboy me, like just putting out my emotions that I don't really do a lot. And I was kind of like trying to explain where I was mentally, and someone messaged me like, "Yo, you should listen to Rhea on this podcast because she struggles with the same thing like you do." And I was like, "Really?" And she's like, "Yeah, like she struggles a lot with self-confidence and her self-worth and stuff. But then you see her in her character, and she's like just the dominant. She's mommy, like
yeah,
she's the
she's
boss.
mommy. She literally
Yeah,
is,
So I
yeah.
was like, I have to check that out.
So, yeah.
What about male wrestler?
I don't really favor men, so, um, I don't know.
Kevin Owens is my dude. Just
Yeah?
gives it up for those chubby daddies. You know what I mean? Kevin Owens and Adam Cole are probably my two favorites.
Um, I don't really have a favorite male wrestler right now.
Yeah. If you could write a letter to your younger self, what would it say?
Hmm.
That's
I'd
That's
probably
Hunter's
say get
trademark
into
question.
wrestling much earlier.
Yeah.
I wish I was one of those stories that was like, I started wrestling at 14.
Like Bailey. Like I've
I
been watching
know.
it since I'm 3.
Yeah, I
Could
got
you
in the
imagine
ring at the age of 5.
how much different your life would have been if
I
Sailor Moon was
know.
replaced with
But
WWE?
I just feel like even now, if my younger self, even high school self, if I got a letter was like, "Hey, get into wrestling," you should be like, "What the fuck? Like, I never watched this before. Like, what? This obviously was not written by me."
Yeah. No questions. Just always a pleasure to watch you work. And then last one is Cosmic Rules. But thank you once again. I appreciate you so much. Like I said, I have the other content coming where like if you ever anything else you want to jump in and do, like if you want to like review a movie with me, or maybe like I start watching that, or you explain an anime to me and then maybe I start watching it or something. There's so much different avenues. If you want to jump on a horror movie one with me and my wife, I don't know if you're into horror movies, but
Yeah.
we just watched I watched it. I'm waiting for her to watch it so we can do a review. But I just watched Smile.
Which was that one?
It just like this demon chases people and kills them, but like it reveals itself by like this creepy smile.
Oh, I haven't seen that one then. I
It's
think
pretty
it's on
good.
Netflix, right?
I think Paramount Plus.
Okay.
Yeah. We just did our first one we did was the new Scream, then we did Cocaine Bear, and then we
You
just watched.
you saw Cocaine Bear?
Dude, it's awesome.
Really?
It's awesome. Don't go into it expecting scary. Don't go into it expecting a masterpiece. Just go in expecting funny and a good time, and
I'm
you'll love it.
All right, I'm gonna give
Dude,
it a try then.
kids eat coke in it. Like little kids. It's hilarious. It's a giant bear who eats cocaine and just murders everybody.
I remember hearing this like the actual news story, and then somehow like 2 weeks later, a movie was released. I was like,
Well, the
how?
actual news story happened years and years and years ago.
Oh, so it must have just like resurfaced or
Yeah,
something.
it
Yeah,
resurfaced, and then so like the bear never hurt anybody. It ate the coke, it ran for a while, and then just died, like an
I feel like that's
overdose.
some genius marketing. They must
Yeah,
have purposely like he was like, hey, you guys heard about this cocaine bear? Oh,
like
by the way, there's a
the
movie
bear
coming out.
itself is literally stuffed in on display somewhere, like the cocaine bear. And then the way that the bear even got the cocaine is even crazier. In real life, this guy worked as an FBI agent, and he was a an undercover who then turncoat and then became a drug dealer. And then he was being caught and he was paranoid. So he was flying his plane across country with a bunch of coke in it. And he got scared thinking he was being followed, started dumping the coke out of the plane at like 30,000 feet. And this coke just started going through all these national parks. And then he went to jump out of the plane. And whether they don't know if he hit his head on the way out, he overdosed, or his parachute just didn't work. And he just smacked the ground
Oh
and
my
died.
God.
Yeah. But so on top of this guy failed parachute attempt, all the coke he threw, a bear ended up eating like hundreds of pounds of it. And
Was
here we are with this movie. So like there's two
is the
insane
bear on
stories.
display, like, have a little
It
like
should. It definitely should. But they said when they cut the bear open, its stomach was like it was completely compact full of cocaine. Like it was like a rock hard. Like it ate itself full of it.
that's pretty
It's
sad.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Just the weirdest story ever. But it's a fun movie. Go, you'll watch it, have a good time. But all right, well, that'll do it. We ended it on Cocaine Bear. Thank you so much again, Cosmic. Everyone go check out her on social media. All her links are below. Merchandise, keychains, hit her up. They're
Yeah,
all
I
still
got
there.
keychains, I got stickers, I got foot pics for those who are, top dollar customers. Kidding. I don't gotta. No,
Nah.
you gotta be special.
Yeah. Well, we'll see you guys next time. We'll be back on Sunday. Oh man, Sunday with that no good piece of crap garbage Ricky Price. I don't know how I'm gonna get through this interview. He's the worst. He's the absolute worst. You see my logo, that I love ABJ logo?
Which is this one?
It's like I heart ABJ, but it's ABJ like me.
Mm.
He took my merch and he defiled it. It's hate. He says I hate ABJ. Who hates
Aw.
ABJ? Awful. What a scumbag. But that'll be Sunday at 5:00, and that'll be episode 52. And then we'll get into next month. Tons of good interviews. If you're watching this, listening to this, you want to collaborate, whether it's the ABJ podcast, or you want to join us on Tornado Tag, or Not Cool in High School, or Not Cool in High School Horror, hit me up. We'll make some cool content. All the links is in the guest sign up is in the links below. Or if you're someone in the industry, it doesn't even have to be a wrestler or in the wrestling industry. If you're an artist, a band, and you're in movies, you have just a really, really interesting story or a fun topic you want to talk about, like did a drug dealer drop coke in your neighborhood and then a crazy story happened, I want to hear it. So come on the ABJ podcast. I don't want to get away from wrestling interviews, but I definitely want to start adding different flavors into it. But thank you guys all so much. We'll see you on Sunday for the ABJ podcast with Ricky Price. He sucks. Here's some music by Billy Trey, the Converse Kid. If you're looking for music as well, hit him up. Also in my link tree, last one plug. Looking for logos. I have a list of people who do amazing work, whether it be Haley Stokes, if you need something from Hunter, Kai, really affordable prices, and they make really good logos. They've made all mine. You can check my merch page and it tells you who made which one. So if there's a certain style you like, hit them up. As well as music. If you're looking for intro music for your podcast, your wrestling, the whole nine, Converse Kid, your kid. So go check it out, and we'll see you soon. We're out of here.